In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to set up a basic Morris water maze experiment in AnyMaze. If you're new to using AnyMaze, I recommend you stop here and watch our Intro to AnyMaze video first, which you can access from our website. Let's get started by building our protocol. As you'll have learned from the intro video, let's start by adding a video source. I'll use an example video for the sake of demonstration. Next, add an apparatus, which will represent your physical apparatus. Here, we're going to draw the important areas contained in the video picture. Let's start with the border of the pool using the ellipse tool. Then we can divide the pool into quadrants to measure time spent in each quadrant. You could either hand draw these in, or use the grid tool for a more precise drawing. And we can't forget to include the platform. Lastly, let's calibrate the size of the pool using the green ruler that's already provided. This particular pool is 1,500 millimeters in diameter. Next, you should enter the details of your animals. Then we'll move on to zones. Let's start by making a zone for each quadrant. Then we'll add a zone for the platform. You can optionally evaluate the Wishaw's corridor for this zone as well. If you're unfamiliar with Wishaw's corridor, it's simply a rectangular area that runs from the animal's starting position in the test to the center of the zone. In this case, the center of the platform zone. AnyMaze can then report measures of the time and distance traveled in this corridor zone. Now, there's a lesser-known protocol item just beneath zones called points. You can use points to mark the location of objects located outside of your apparatus, such as visual cues for your animals, and use it to generate measures such as time spent oriented toward that particular point. So let's add a point to indicate the location of our two visual cues. Then just beneath that, let's select that we'd like to analyze the animal's orientation towards zones and points. Let's now move on to setting up our stages. As you'll have learned from the intro video, stages are how AnyMaze divides your experiment into various phases. In a classic water maze experiment, you'll have a training stage consisting of a maximum number of, say, 10 trials, 2 minutes each, and a probe stage consisting of a single trial for 2 minutes as well. Let's go back to the training stage and make a couple more edits. You will, of course, want your animals to have learned where the platform is by the time they reach the probe stage. And once they've proven they know where the platform is, you can opt to not give them any more training trials. AnyMaze can assess this for you using what are called stage end rules. Let's set up a stage end rule, which will advance an animal to the probe stage when the animal has located the platform within 30 seconds in 2 consecutive trials. And in the instance that some animals never acquire the task of finding the platform by the final training trial, you can have AnyMaze automatically retire those animals. The final important protocol item to set up is called procedures. Procedures are used to detect specific situations in a test and perform some action as a result. For the water maze, we can use a procedure to end the test when the animal finds the platform. To build a procedure, we'll just click and drag these commands into the blank space on the right, and AnyMaze will read them from top to bottom. So, we want AnyMaze to end the test when the animal finds the platform. So let's have AnyMaze wait until the animal enters the platform zone. Then when this occurs, end the test. I'll just quickly hide the protocol list to give myself some more screen real estate. You may also find a scenario in which the animals swim over the platform but don't ever land on it. In this case, you might want to set up a requirement that the animal be on the platform at least 3 seconds to ensure he located it. So this is how you can write this 3-second criterion into the procedure. AnyMaze will wait until the animal enters the platform zone, then it will wait for 3 seconds to elapse. If after 3 seconds the animal is still on the platform, the test will end. However, if the animal exits the platform before 3 seconds, then it ignores the if statement below and starts back at the top of the repeat bracket. The final requirement is to tell AnyMaze how you want it to assign your treatment groups among your animals. I want to test my animals in a staggered fashion, so let's select this option. Okay, that's the protocol complete. Let's go ahead and save it so we can use it as a template in the future. You probably don't want to have to set all this back up again later. Let's move on to the experiment page where we'll input our treatment groups and the number of animals per group. To view the individual animals and their treatment group assignments, click View Animals here at the top. You can see AnyMaze has assigned my animals in the staggered fashion I specified. If you're not satisfied with the treatment group assignment at this point, you can change it anytime like this. You'll also see that AnyMaze has automatically numbered the animals 1 to infinity. If you'd prefer to use your own animal IDs, simply go back to the protocol page under Animal ID and select this box. Then, going back to the experiment page, we now have a column to enter our own. That's it for the experiment page. Once you begin testing, you can feel free to come back here and add more animals or change your treatment group assignments. Let's move on to the tests page. I'll start this test, which will begin once the experimenter leaves the video frame. This is called automatic starting of tests. This cone protruding from the animal's head is the angle of orientation. We can edit it under Protocol, Orientation and Movement. Then we can watch as the animal enters the platform. The test will end automatically. Then once the test is complete, AnyMaze will assess whether the animal has satisfied the stage end rules. To prepare the next test, we can either switch to the next video if we're tracking from pre-recorded videos, or simply prepare your apparatus for the next animal, press the Start Test button, then go fetch your animal, place him in the apparatus, and remove yourself from the video frame. The test will then start automatically when you leave. On this note, you may want to utilize a feature specific to Water Maze, which is Water Maze Fast Auto Start. The way AutoStart works is that as soon as you engage the AutoStart by clicking Start Test, AnyMaze will be waiting to start, assessing the area outside of the apparatus map for movement or lack thereof. When it detects that movement has stopped, it starts the test as it posits that this was you entering and leaving the video picture to put the animal in the arena. Normally, AnyMaze will assess the movement in the entire area outside of the apparatus map, but with WaterMaze Fast Auto Start, it will assess just the sliver immediately surrounding the water maze to engage Auto Start sooner. This is to avoid an instance where it takes you even a second or two to leave the frame, in which time the animal has already swam a considerable distance and maybe even found the platform. Okay, fast forwarding just a bit, let's say I've now completed the entire experiment and I've presented the data to my PI who's asking to see the data for the thigmotaxis zone, but I never included one in my setup. No sweat, we can add it now. First, add the thigmotaxis delineation to the apparatus map. Then add a zone to assign meaning to this area. Then we can view the test's data to see we now have the thigmotaxis results. In fact, most protocol items can be edited like this post hoc. It's extremely flexible. Next, I want to explain what to do when your platform can adopt different positions between animals. To start, you'll need to draw in the various positions the platform can occupy in the apparatus map. Then indicate that the platform zone is movable by selecting one of the options in this drop-down menu, whichever applies to your experiment. Then add the various zone positions the platform can adopt. With that set up, we can then assign the platform positions to each animal on the experiment page. Though, if you had selected the other movable zone option, that the zone can vary within the animals, then you'll assign the zone positions under Stages on the protocol page. When you set up a movable zone, AnyMaze will automatically cope with the fact that it can adopt different positions within or between animals, so it will simply show the data for the platform zone without you needing to worry about what position it was in for each test. Before we wrap up this demo, I just want to quickly show you two ways to display the movable platform positions to make it obvious and simple during testing. You can write a procedure to display the zone label on the video picture so you can know where exactly to place the platform before each test. You'll notice I'm putting this procedure in the orange area this time because I want the zone labeled before the test starts. And here's what the label looks like. You can also display the platform positions on the test schedule, like this. If you need any help setting up your WaterMaze protocol or have questions, feel free to email us at support@anymaze.com. We're happy to help.